Hello and welcome to Talk D93, Community Consolidated School District 93's podcast hosted by me, Superintendent Dr. David Hill. In it, I sit down from time to time with key figures who impact our district to have conversations about specific CCSD 93 programs, services, roles, events, history, and more. Today, I'm excited to welcome Heather Santiemmo, Principal of CCSD 93's Early Childhood Center, or the ECC as we like to call it, for a conversation about the district's preschool program and the ECC, which opened in 2013 as a space dedicated just for our community's youngest learners. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. And thank you for being here. Let's jump right into it. Let me start by asking, what makes the ECC building unique?
Well, the building was built in 2013, and I think there's so many unique features to the building that I could share. I feel like overall, the design was really well thought out to embody what we call a universal design to meet all of the needs of our learners. The classrooms, when you walk in, are beautifully large and just inviting to all of the students. Being that we have the youngest learners, we also have the littlest learners in our school. So everything size-wise is also accommodating to our students. That could be from our toilets to the height of the sinks for them to wash their hands, where we place our hooks, so they can independently hang up their backpacks and their jackets. Even where our windows are placed in the classrooms are at a level at any time the students can look outside and kind of explore what's going on out there as well. We have technology that is embedded throughout the school. So in the hallways and in the classroom, if you were to come in upon arrival, some days you may hear some nice music playing while the kids are coming in the classroom. Teachers have the ability to communicate with the office or other classrooms quickly as well. Outdoors, we have a beautiful outdoor area that's fenced in for our students to have gross motor and movement opportunities throughout the day. There's a climbing apparatus if they wanted to go up the stairs and down the slide. Sometimes students choose to go to our bike path where they can navigate bikes around a traffic pattern. We have a beautiful water table outside where many children can play in the water, lots of grass area, and most importantly, I love to share that we have a covered patio outside. So on some days when the weather is rainy but not too hot or too cold, we still have an opportunity to let the kids go outside and play under that covered patio, which is a nice feature. For the days where it is too hot or too cold, we're really fortunate that in the building we have a gross motor room as well. So all of those activities that they get to do outside, we just bring them inside for them, and they still get that time each day. And lastly, I probably would share that if you came to our building, you would see along the front of the building, there's a lot of planter boxes, and each classroom is assigned a gardening box for their room. And every spring, the students and the teachers embark in a lesson in a unit on gardening. And they actually get to go out and use that area to garden. And then over summer, we care for it. And in the fall, should it be something like a vegetable, they can come back and harvest that as well.
Well, I can certainly sense your pride in the building. And as someone who is part of the design committee, I share that same kind of pride in that building. I think it's a fantastic facility. So we talked a little bit about the building itself. So how about the people? What sets the ECC staff apart from our other preschools in the area?
Yeah, great question. So many things, but first and foremost, all of the classroom teachers are licensed teachers in early childhood education. Additionally, they are licensed for early childhood education, but they also have special education endorsements. So our classroom model is what we call blended. So we welcome some students who have special education needs, and then a variety of students who do not. And so those teachers are able to really support all of the needs of the students that are within our building. We have student service providers, so this includes speech and language pathologists, occupational therapists, a school psychologist, a school social worker, all of which are also licensed. And so for those students who are identified to have special education needs, they can provide those services and therapies within the classroom setting, which is really the student's most natural environment to do so. We're fortunate that each classroom has one paraprofessional and one classroom teacher. So one thing I love to highlight is our ratios in our classroom. We have a maximum of 15 students in each of our classrooms, which is a lower ratio. So that really averages out to be about 1 to 7 students to 1 adult, and in some occasions 1 to 8 in the classrooms as well. Overall, we have Just a dedicated staff. We have a nurse who is dedicated to the students. If they fall or bump their knee or they're not feeling well, they always have the opportunity to go visit our nurse. And we have 2 secretarial staff members who kind of manage the day-to-day operations in the front. Overall, everybody there is just serving the same purpose to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our young student learners.
Sounds like you have a wonderful, dedicated, and committed team over at the ECC.
We do.
As we think about our ECC students, as you mentioned, can you tell me and our listeners what a typical day looks like for them?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we have a half-day model. So we have a group of students who come in the morning and a group of students who then come in the afternoon. And one of the things in the preschool that is very consistent is our daily schedule. We know between the ages of 3 and 5, providing that consistency and having our students know what's coming next is an important part of their day. So although the teaching instruction and the methods and strategies may look different amongst the classroom, the schedule as a whole is going to look very similar between all of our rooms. Upon arrival, you'll see all of our staff out and about greeting the students as they come into the building. Some staff may be helping students out of the cars. Some students are coming off the buses, so they may be assisting in that way. And the rest of the staff is outside their classroom or in the halls, making sure that the students have a warm welcome. As they enter the classroom, all of the students start their day with what we call a large circle time. And this is an opportunity for our students to be able to greet their peers and their teachers in the morning. Traditionally, they'll have a hello song that they sing. And then the teachers typically will assign students to different jobs and responsibilities in the classroom. So during this large circle time, a student may be the weather reporter, and they may need to check the weather and report out to the rest of their peers in that large group time. We can talk about identifying feelings, and then traditionally the teachers will have some type of literacy activity in that large group, maybe a read aloud story. From there, all of our students also get what's called small group instruction at preschool. So this is an opportunity to provide more of direct instruction on certain skills that we're teaching our children. So for example, if I was a classroom teacher, I may take a group of 3 or 4 students and work on a skill such as classifying or sorting or number recognition. I may be doing a rhyming activity because we're targeting the skill of phonological awareness in early childhood education. So that is provided throughout all of our classrooms for all of our students with a lot of differentiation. Our students also have, and what's probably the most important part of their day, is 60 minutes of play. So we know at preschool this is where a lot of the really rich learning happens throughout play. And throughout that 60 minutes, a student might choose to play in the kitchen area or what we call dramatic play. They may choose to go over to the block center and become an architect and build a beautiful structure. They may want to do art. They might be hungry for a little bit of snack. And throughout that 60 minutes of play, that's our opportunity as educators to really embed ourselves alongside of the students and scaffold their learning and their play. That's also a really prime time for our service providers to come in and provide therapy in their most natural environment as well. And then, as I mentioned, I talked about the outdoor areas earlier, but all of our students have 30 minutes of gross motor play every single day, whether that's inside or outside. And then finally, to culminate their day, all of our classrooms have one more circle time with their students that's called SEL, and that stands for Social Emotional Learning. And in preschool, we're working and targeting how to not only appropriately identify our emotions, but when we have these big emotions, what do we do with them? And so at any given time, if you came in to see one of these circles, you may see an instructional lesson on second step, you may see an activity around the zones of regulation, or you simply might see the students doing a mindful matter where they're doing a calming activity or breathing activity, and oftentimes they really like to do the yoga.
Well, it certainly sounds like our youngest learners have quite a structured, eventful half day when they're there.
They do.
It's honestly always a highlight of my day or week to stop by and see the ECC and see our little ones engaging in these types of activities. So for families considering the ECC, can you share some insight into the options for enrollment that are available to them?
Sure. We have a couple different options for enrollment. First, if a student has been identified to have any type of special educational need, they are offered an opportunity to come to our preschool and get the preschool experience in addition to the services that they need for their needs. The second group of students that we would identify would be considered students that are most at risk. And so through a screening process at our school, we identify students who are at risk. And if they qualify for that program, we could support them with some financial assistance. Or if you're a member of our community and you were just looking to enroll your child into a preschool program, we do offer a 3-day, a 4-day, or a 5-day option. We offer this opportunity for families who are in the community and outside of the community district boundary lines.
Good. So we offer a lot of our families ways to get into this outstanding preschool. I know that our Board of Education has made it a priority to keep the ECC's tuition rates extremely competitive with other local preschool programs that may not be able to offer quite what the ECC does. For our families interested in enrolling their children at the ACC, what does the enrollment process look like?
Yeah, so traditionally we're going to start this process in January. So we start our registration process in January for the following school year. So it's important for families to reach out either by phone or to check our website for information on dates for registration. We will hold a informational evening for our families in the community to come learn more about our program and all of the opportunities that we offer their child in January. So families should look for that as well on our website. And we do ask that all of our families, whether they're just seeking more information or looking to register, start with what we call an interest form. So there's two ways that we can help families get to that form. They can contact the school. Our phone number is 630-307-3750. Or they can go directly to our website, which is www.ccsd93.com/preschool. And when they get to our page on the bottom left side, there's a tab titled Registration. Should they click on that tab, the interest form will come up, and all we ask is that you complete that interest form and submit it, and then somebody from the school will directly reach out to the family to provide the information they're looking for or next steps in the registration process.
Thank you. Heather, I want to thank you for joining me today to share a bit of insight about CCSD 93's Early Childhood Center.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Talk D93 listeners, please subscribe to Talk D93 on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. And don't miss a thing from CCS 93 by following us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at drhilld93. Join us next time for more from CCSD 93. Thank you.